What's up, Slayers? Let's go, babies. Hey, it's Friday night. It's May. Fish are spawning. Some places they're not yet. But hey, we hope everybody's doing great out there. It's another brand new episode of Slay Station. Already got our boy Ed Munoz commenting here on YouTube. One of our very few people that watch on YouTube. But hey, hope everybody's doing great. Hope you had a great week. Hope you are doing things that are that keep you happy, keep you motivated, and keep you going through this crazy time. But listen, tonight we have a really special episode. It's another Slayers Roundtable. We got some Slay Nation members from across the country who are hopping on tonight. Some who you may have met before, some you maybe have not. And we're going to introduce them to the Slay family. So we appreciate y'all for watching tonight. If you are watching from Facebook, make sure you grant StreamYard permission to use your name so that when you comment, we don't just see Facebook user. It says your name so we know who's chiming in here. But like, share, all that stuff. Please follow us on our YouTube channel. Trying to build that up a little bit. But hey, before we get our guests on, just want to thank all of our sponsors right here. SFO Tackle, right? There it is. Go check out SFO Tackle, right? Sports fishing outlet, okay? Out of Pennsylvania and Pennsylvania, New Jersey line. They're not too far from Jersey. Go check them out. They got everything. Salt, fresh water, doesn't matter. They have a huge assortment of things. Go online as well. A lot of stuff that they do have in store is not online yet. But if you're interested in something, let me know and I'll hook you up with those guys. Black Hall Outfitters. They have a special sale coming up next weekend on all of their Hobie stuff. They sell Old Town and Hobie now. And they've already been giving Slay Nation members a discount, but they ship anywhere in the country, guys. So don't forget to check out blackhall.outfitters.com. Dark Horse Tackle, right? Supporting small American businesses, subscription box. So if you're into that, go check out Dark Horse Tackle. They got a lot of cool options up there and different types of boxes that you can get and purchase on a monthly or just a one-time purchase, right? If you want to check it out. All right, next, Martin's Custom Baits. Some of the best wire baits on the market, jigs, underspins, buzz baits, right? Knee knocker, one of their newer spinner baits. I got that rigged up for my season opener on Sunday. But go check out Martin's Custom Baits. Slay Nation members, use your discount code. That's the best way to support our sponsors. X-Zone Lures, right? Some of the best soft plastics in the game. Heat your meat. That's right, y'all. If you haven't gotten Heat Your Meat yet, make sure you get it. It's that time of season. You're going to be hosting barbecues, all right, whatever in the backyard. 4th of July is going to be coming up in 2 months. So go check out Heat Your Meat. 2 of my favorite seasonings are their mild and their everything bagel seasoning. We also have Stoneman and Son Lure Companies out of Vermont. We have 2 guys who are hopping on tonight, and their director is Pete Stoneman. So go check out, right, custom airbrushed products. Check out Stoneman and Son Lures. The Rod Glove, right? Protect your investment, protect your rods. They got screensavers now. So those units you're taking on and off your kayaks or your boats, whatever it is, now you have a safe handle protector so that nothing gets scratched, lost, whatever. Right. So they got some new products out. Hooks at Hoodlums. Go check them out. Ride or Die. Ride or Collide. I mean, not Ride or Die. Ride or Collide. Hooks at Hoodlums. Awesome apparel. Every episode I wear my Hooks at hat. Tonight I wore this Slay Nation fitted hat tonight. But go check them out. They got some new stuff coming out, some new merch. And we'll also be talking about doing the Slay Nation Hooks at collab, which we've done every year so far. They've been on board with us. Harmony Fishing Company, the official hook of Slay Nation. Now listen, these hooks, I'm telling you, go check them out. He has tons of different kinds of packs, Tokyo rigs. They got prop baits if you like top water frogging with soft plastic frogs or whatever you want to put on there. There's a prop on there. I actually think I have some behind my computer here, but go check them out. Super sharp quality out of Pennsylvania. John is a great guy, another small business to support. And Omnia Fishing. You all know Omnia. So go check out Omnia and use that discount code, y'all. Hey, enough of me. And let's bring on some guests. Tonight, we're going to be bringing on upstate New York kayak series, one of our upstate New York kayak series directors who also was a winner, champion this last weekend. We got Josh Fusen coming on. Josh, howdy do.
What's going on, everyone?
What's up, baby? All right, we're also going to bring on a duo from our very first ever Vermont Slay Nation Small Vessel Series. We're going to bring on Mike and Matthew, Vermont Slayers, first place in their season.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, gents? How we doing?
Here.
All right, bonjour.
Bonjour. Yes.
And we're going to bring on some Long Islanders, right? We're bringing out Frankie and Craig. That's it. Muscles Menonad. Here we go, baby. Right? They're a duo out of our first ever. Who the hell would have thought that there is bass fishing on Long Island, y'all? So, hey, Frankie and Craig, what's going on?
Not much, man. How are you?
We're good. We are good, man. Welcome to Slay Station, right? Another tag team duo. Here we go. Hey, there it is, Alvin.
There's Al.
There he is,
Hey,
Mike
buddy.
and Matt. There you go. Alvin is our national online slot series director and also the owner of the American Angler Outdoors. If you don't know, go check out the American Anglers Outdoors. We'll touch upon that later because Binya Outdoors, who's Mike Hansen here, has
He
his
is
own
too.
channel.
He's I snuck him in too, so he's kind of a new member as well. So
all right, let's go. Now we're talking. This will also be on there, folks. Right, Slay Stations get posted on there as well, and it's free to watch. Right, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, Bern Pisarick Jr., what's up? New Jersey Slayer in the house. All right, gents. Well, you're on because you're champions. Right, most of you are leading your AOI standings right now after your first event because of your wins. And look at all these Slayers. Ed, we would have had more on, but we had people making baby cribs, dude. Other people had to go night-night. I don't know, man. What are you going to do? We're party animals tonight. But, gents, appreciate you guys hopping on. And I really, like we talked about backstage, I'm interested to hear how all of your wins went. Did you find a pattern? What happened? What, like, the cool thing is, upstate New York and in Vermont, you guys are more northern than Long Island and myself, right? Connecticut. So Long Island, Connecticut, I'm pretty sure I know our weather's pretty much quite the same. But I'm curious to see what the water temps were up by you guys in a little bit and see pre-spawn still spawning, and talk more about that. And also how it is being a kayak team, a John boat team, and then fishing solo as well, and the differences in that and how it is like picking apart water. So Josh, let's start with you, man. Talk about what happened last weekend, dude.
Well, it was a crazy tourney. We were worried to begin with because there was gale force winds up to 40 miles an hour called for that day. Yeah. So there was a lot of us. We had 33 people signed up for the tournament. A lot of us launched south because that's the way the winds were coming from, figuring we could kind of stay out of them. I saw videos of a few crazy guys up north in 4 or 5 foot waves out there fishing.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. So,
wow. God bless you.
I went down south, water temperature was between 47 and 51, depending where you were at. Wind, it wasn't quite as strong as in the north, but it was strong enough that you couldn't stay in one spot. Like you were constantly moving. So I sat out there like an hour and a half. By the time that was done, I hadn't got a single fish other than a pike. Fingers were numb. Decided to move up in the canal, out of the wind, obviously. Threw a flipping jig at a log, caught a fish right away. Thought it was a good sign, kept going. 3 hours in that canal at that point, everybody coming in to escape the wind. And there was probably 16, 17 people in a canal wide enough you could cast from one bank to the other. So 3 hours, nothing. Moved my way back out. Ran into TJ, one of our Pennsylvania directors there.
Yeah.
Only Pennsylvania director this year, correct?
For the kayak series. Yeah.
Yep. So TJ was up there second place, I think. Ran into him. Literally went just a little bit down from him. Casted. Hooked into a 20.5 or 20.25 inch. I was like, all right, throwing a sexy shad. Kept going, another tree, another fish, 21.75 inch. So I was like, all right, I got something going here. 3-4 foot of water.
Wait, how big?
21.75.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you said 27 points. I was like, what
No,
the frick?
no, that'd be a record for
I'm
New
going,
York.
I'm going nuts over here, man.
They
Yeah.
don't get that big up here. So kept going, another fish. At that point, wind started picking back up, started getting cold, started raining. But 12 inches off from first place. I'm like, I got 2 hours still. I've only got 4 fish bag. I'm going to keep going. About 2 o'clock, finally hit the last fish, jumped ahead of TJ, and I just was able to keep that lead there. I actually stayed right next to TJ for that last half hour. We just fished it out, cast for cast, and
Nice.
managed to
Slugfest.
keep it. So I ended up taking home first place. I took home Big Bass, 21.75, which that's going to be a competitor for that Heat Your Meat award for the state there.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
Jim already said Long Island's going to have trouble beating that one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And then we do a little side pot tag team as well, and we won that too. So walked out of
Nice.
there almost 900 in cash. Got some sweet awards this year.
Look at those, dude.
And yeah, I mean, I've been tourney fishing for 5 years, 4 years with Slay Nation, and this was my first ever win. So it was
Congratulations, man. How does it? So I have a question for you. So during the event, now do you guys shut your standings down on Tourney X at a certain point, or you leave them open?
See, there was a lot of debate on whether or not we should. Some of the other clubs shut theirs down at 1 o'clock. We've got a lot of family at home that like to follow all day long, so we just leave them open because otherwise we have people messaging us asking what happened. I know my mother's constantly watching, my girlfriend's constantly watching. A lot of our other people's the same way, so we leave them on so everybody can tell what's going on. And it kind of, it's still some people's thought, to my knowledge, is it pushes people to just keep going. But in a situation like mine, 2 o'clock, I passed TJ and I knew I was right there. So I fished even harder. I mean, every single one of my fingers was cracked open from the cold and the wind, and I still kept going, just pushing because I knew I was that close to keeping the lead.
Well, that's why I asked, because knowing sometimes I know for my club, but we shut it off at noon. And no one watches. My wife can give two shits how I do. And I'll be honest. And but did you feel pressure? Is what I'm saying. Like, like knowing you're close to whether you're leading or you're second place, like that kind of pressure, and like to finish it out. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like the pressure in a basketball game. You're the point guard. You're the one expected to make that winning shot, and that pressure and the expectation. But also in a fishing tournament, which is 8 hours, not 4 quarters, is like, how do you maintain, one, your composure, and two, how do you keep that motivation and like to finish it out, to dig it out?
So like with me, my fourth fish, like I say, was at I got it written down, 12:07. I caught my fourth fish, which had me 13 inches from the lead. Everybody else above me had a full bag. I only had 4 fish. Okay. And Owasco Lake is known for monsters. I mean, there were people, we had 3 different people break their PBs that day, me being one of them.
Nice.
And I saw I was that close, and I pushed that hour. I stayed out in the wind. I stayed out in the rain, in the waves. I just kept going because I'm like, I could actually take this one. So then 2 o'clock hits. That's when I caught my 16 1/4, and that put me in first. And I'm like, I'm this close. I won it by an inch. TJ was only an inch behind me. So if he would have called, his lowest was a 17 1/2. So if he would have got a 18 1/2, which is very doable in that lake, he would have tied me, 18 3/4. He would have took it. So I pushed through. I was sore. I was tired, but I just kept going right up until 2:30. I mean, I was a 1.5 miles almost away from the launch, and I still kept fishing right till that last moment, and then pedaled back through that wind because I wanted my first win.
100%. Nice. All right, cool. Now, does it feel weird? Did it feel weird winning? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if anybody on here, like, when you get a win, especially like in a fishing tournament, right? Yeah. Like you get a win, you feel like it feels weird because you're not, I don't know. I've won one time years ago, and I don't know. Maybe I don't think I expected it of myself. So I don't know. Like, how did it feel? Like, were you like, oh shit, I did it? Like,
I was on cloud 9. when I realized I won it after last submission and I saw I was still in the front, but it definitely felt weird standing up there for awards when I'm taking home 3 out of the 5.
That is, you hog. You're a hog.
As a director, when you're taking home 3 out of the 5 and taking home most of the pot of everybody's money, it feels weird standing up there. But at the same time, I couldn't let Pennsylvania beat us either. They came up here to do one of our events, and I know whether he's listening or not, I know Brett there wouldn't let us live it down if TJ would have beat us on our own turf.
Oh, that's so. And to give a little backstory to that, guys. So New York and Pennsylvania kayak clubs, they have a tradition going on, a civil war, where it's New York versus PA, and they all go to the same body of water. So TJ is our Pennsylvania guy. So Josh, now I know why you didn't give up.
No, I mean we were neck and neck, and like I said, it was cool. The last half hour, literally, TJ and I were close enough to each other that you could reach out with your rod and touch the other person, and we were just fishing opposite directions and just battled it out right there at the end in the same spot. I couldn't have asked for a better way to end it.
Nice, man. Well, congratulations. I know that you have been working hard, not only as an angler, but also as a director. You and Justin have put in lots of sweat equity up there for New York and those guys. So that's karma, dude. That's well deserved. Now JQ is ready for one. And maybe maybe tell him to save it for the Civil War event in August.
He's got a couple wins under his belt. So
I know he does. Justin is
angler of the year our first year up here.
Justin can slay, dude. But congratulations, man. And now what I want to do, so Josh, that's a kayak series event. Now we're just going to scoot right down below to Frankie and Craig, Long Island. But you guys fished together in our small vessel series out of a boat.
Yeah.
And what happened last weekend, fellas? And your season, and wasn't your season opener, was it?
No, we missed the first one. This is actually our first tournament ever.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your first tournament ever?
Yeah. We fished for years together, and we always catch good fish. So
let's go, kid.
And we just looked it up one day, and we're like, oh, there's a tournament on Long Island? So we just signed up for it.
Yeah, we decided to give it a shot, and
we came out
on top.
All right. So talk about that. So first of all, it's your first event. And I remember my very first event. I was a non-boater. I'm not going to say co-angler because that's baloney. I was a non-boater. I wasn't anybody's co-anything. Yeah. And I was on a boat with the guy that owned it. And in my very first tournament, I was really intimidated, right? You got all these guys, these huge boats, expensive stuff. And here I am, some schmuck. I come out with 7 rods in my hand, a backpack, and a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I was super scared, I'll be honest with you. And this was years ago. How did you guys feel that morning, like going into your first tournament?
We were definitely anxious. We had a little bit of nerves, but we kind of went in with a positive attitude, and we knew we were going to go against people that had been fishing for a while, been in multiple tournaments, and we knew we were just going to have to come and just do what we do on a daily basis every time we hit the water.
Yeah. It was definitely intimidating because we didn't think there was going to be like full-blown bass boats out there.
Yeah, watch out. That's some of I think some of those older guys, some of the older guys.
Yeah.
The bass boat. Yeah, they're from the Bassmaster Club. Jim wanted to teach them how to do CPR, and he's like, that's all they got. And I'm like, all right, whatever. But did you have a game plan going into it? Meaning like, all right, Craig, you're good with a drop shot. And then Frankie, like, hey man, I'm going to rock a jig, or I'm going to rock I don't know. Like, did you have a game plan going into it?
So we practiced like the week prior, and we found out that the square,
it's a square bill crankbait worked the best. So we kind of went back and forth from that to top water.
Oh,
we were getting more results and stuff like that. A lot of people were saying early in the season to use crankbaits, but we found that they were more effective at that time.
Yeah, it was crazy. We call it like 10, 12 bass, and people didn't even catch a single fish. And it was
wow.
6 o'clock in the morning. We caught a 2.5 pound smallmouth. That's 10 minutes into the tournament.
Yeah,
that's the best.
That's the
best. 10 minutes into the competition.
And then we just couldn't stop catching them. It was awesome.
Yeah. How old are you guys?
I'm 27.
He's 27. I'm 36.
All right. Yeah. You guys are young bucks. Nice. And so, oh, I lost my train of thought real quick. But what was the water temp? What's the water temp over there?
We don't know exactly what it was
was
because our fish finder was broken. It was warmer than normal because
Okay.
we've been going out after the tournament to different lakes, and the water is definitely colder at certain spots. So
Yep.
I want to say you're probably in the mid 50s.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were definitely spawning because we just came back from a lake out east and it was cold, and they weren't like spawning. They weren't on the beds or anything.
Ah,
It was
okay.
we only caught a couple fish.
So the square bill was the ticket?
Yeah, it was golden ticket.
Yeah.
We caught
Were you
wild.
bumping into like rocks, wood, or?
It was we were kind of hitting a little bit of veg on the bottom, but just
We were like skimming the veg.
yeah.
Just
Oh, okay. Hey,
Let's come off the
skim the
shore.
veg, baby. Those are college days. Skim the veg. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
We were only using crankbait that dove 1 to 3 feet.
Okay.
We're staying shallow in the waters because that's where it's a little bit warmer.
Yeah. So by what time did you have a limit?
7 o'clock in the morning.
No,
What?
Lock. It was
by-
we
by
people,
8:30, I
we
think
had like
we had our
78
bag.
inches at like 9 o'clock.
Like when you have a limit that early, you know it's going to be like it. Well, I'm not. I can't. I don't want to jinx anything. But when you have a limit that early, you feel really good. And you have hours left of fishing.
Yeah,
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, because like you said, certain places turn off their stats. They turned them off at 12:30, and we
Okay.
I think it was a 30-inch lead on the second place team. And once they shut that off, you don't know what happens because I had the biggest bass at 18 and a half inches was that smallmouth bass I caught at 6:10 in the morning.
Yep.
And the last hour of the competition, a guy caught one that was 19 and a quarter inches.
Ooh.
So I didn't find out until everything was figured out at the end.
That's why I like shutting the standings off.
Because
When I do the award ceremony, you know, when people are like, wait, what? Oh man, I thought I had big I thought whatever.
yeah, but it keeps you wanting to keep going because you don't know what's going to happen.
100%.
It keeps it in that suspense.
100%. Now, were you on the water? You know, typically it depends on the size of the body of water, but I'm going to assume that Long Island bodies of water are typical of Connecticut. We don't fish like Canterwood Lake very often. And that's our biggest body of water. So you often are bumping into other teams. You know, they're saying, "Hey, how you doing?" Like, did you bump into any other teams and someone say, "Hey, boys, how you doing?" Were you like, even though you had a limit, were you like, "Oh yeah, we got like 2," or were you truthful?
They knew who we were. They knew
Yeah.
exactly. They're like, "Wait, are you guys Craig and Frank?" And we're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Holy crap! Like, where are you catching from these?"
Oh, so they saw. Okay, yeah. And that happens too.
Migrated it over towards us a little bit, but
Yeah, they're like, "Wait, what are you guys using?" You know,
yeah, we didn't tell them what we were using.
I sometimes say it to my guys joking around, but I'm not joking. I'm like, yeah, what are you guys using? Yeah, like, and they'll tell you. I'm like, Dave, to my partner. I'm like, yo, get that jerkbait out, dude. You got that? Yeah, you got that color, dude. And then we never catch anything. Oh, that's cool, man. So you guys got an early limit. And the good thing about that is you're like, all right, what can we change up to get that bigger bite? Right now it's like, yo, how can we call now? What can we get? I want to get rid of that 14-incher. What do we do? Are you guys like, is the big swim bait craze in Long Island now? Like, are guys using the big glide baits right now, or how's that?
We dabble with it.
Yeah.
We do a lot of top water, like the Guggen 2-steps.
Mm-hmm.
We like those a lot, and they blow up on those everywhere.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now it's the award ceremony. And you don't know where you stand, correct? At that time.
No, we knew we were at least 1 or 2. We just didn't know if the second place team or the third place team got that extra edge at the end of the competition.
Yeah.
To push us down.
So how much did you end up winning by? How many inches?
A quarter inch.
We won by a quarter of an inch.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I didn't realize it was that close. Damn.
It came down to the wire on that one.
Wow. Not for nothing. As a new team, right? Awesome. You got like your first tournament ever you won, right? Like freaking awesome. That's like, you should just retire. Yeah. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it also lets you know, like, hey, we had a limit early, but heading into this next event, it's like, listen, look at the caliber of guys. Even though we caught an early limit, they were still able to grind it out and almost get us.
Yeah,
right?
we happened to hit the right spot early in the morning where the fish were, because to be honest, around 12:30, it started slowing down for us. We didn't get as many bites as we got in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's why we went from our original spot, because everybody started congregating over towards us. And we're like,
so we went on the other side.
let's go try another spot because everybody's coming over here.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like that other side was the better side.
Yeah.
Regardless, but I know why you moved. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. First ever Long Island champion, small vessel series, and you guys got a victory in its inaugural year. So that's freaking cool. So congrats on that.
First event ever.
And now we're gonna go way up north, and we're gonna go to Vermont with Mike and Matthew. And Matthew, tell everybody where you're from.
Yeah, so I'm from Montreal, but the fishing here, it's like very dirty water and very few spots that hold a lot of bass. And I like fishing for a lot of bass and pike as well. But so basically, I met Mike through a Facebook page called 802 Fishing. And then I started doing a lot of bass fishing in Vermont. And then finally, Mike convinced me kind of to get my kayak last year. So I've only been on a kayak for a year now, not even a year.
Okay.
And we just started doing collaborations together because we both have YouTube channels. And then this year I was like, okay, let me take a step further. And I was like, are there any tournaments? And so Mike obviously knows about you guys. And I'm like, let's just join it. Let's do it. So this is my first time in a tournament as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Congrats. Now, how far is that a drive from you to where you were?
Yeah. So this lake was 3 hours south. So I
Okay.
actually slept at Mike's house the night before.
Nice. Mikey, you hosted a sleepover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my wife's still picking on me about that one.
I know. You had a planned play date. That was nice. Nice. Mike.
Yep, exactly.
Right? I know how it goes. Awesome. Well, dude, that's awesome. And not for nothing, Matt, like, listen, I know of people that have teammates that, will bitch and complain driving 45 minutes and you're driving 3 hours. You know what I mean? So like, Mike, I think it's safe to say he's got a good teammate. All right. Well, let's talk about you guys, Mike and Matt. First ever Vermont event, and you guys take the dub. But you're not a John boat team. You're a kayak team. Talk about that.
Mike,
You want to talk about it? Yeah, he lets me be the mouthpiece. So what's funny about this is that we actually the story, I have to tell this story because it has like a happy ending. So he came down, what was it, like 2-3 weeks before the tournament. That the first lake is 30 minutes from my house. It's basically considered my home lake.
Nice.
So I know it really, really well. But he wanted to rig up his kayak with a battery because we both do YouTube. And what we actually do is rig our battery. I have it set up on mine with a Z Pro that I have USB plugs that I run off of the Z Pro so we don't have to charge battery banks for our cameras. So he came down to do the rigging. We fished that day to kind of practice because the one thing I've done tournaments in the past, but I've never had a teammate, and the whole having to stay 30 yards away from your teammate and having to coordinate that, like, because to be honest, during that practice, like I would look back and he's gone. Like I'm way away from him because I wasn't used to having to like pay attention where someone else was.
Yeah.
So, and we were also, one of the other things I think that it kind of actually really didn't happen until the tournament, but we kind of learned to play off of each other's bait style. So, basically the part that the funny part is during that Wednesday, I lost a rod, dumped it in the lake, and ended up finding it during the tournament.
Nice.
So literally I'm like floating around and I'm like, holy crap, that's the tip of my rod sticking out of the water 3 weeks later. But
Damn.
it was one of those like, and actually Matt kept saying it too, is it was like meant to be. Like everything kind of just, the stars kind of aligned. Like everything we did kind of made sense. And actually the same thing as the Long Island deal, he discovered a square bill bite early. And we were fishing in an area, again, I kind of had some insider knowledge because I have hundreds of hours on this body of water.
Yeah.
So on paper, this place, you wouldn't fish where we call our fish.
Okay.
So it's early season, right? But for some reason, around the launch, that water warms up quicker than anywhere else in the state. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't know what specifically about the environment that does that, but water temps were 53.
Okay.
But like even last year, a week after ice out, that lake was 48. Like it's just it heats up faster than everywhere else.
Yeah.
But what's weird about that place is it has a lot of resident bass. So everybody on paper, the way this place works, you come out of the access, you're in 2 to 3 feet of water for the first probably 200-300 yards. And then it drops off. There's islands, there's bluff walls, there's docks. So everybody's like, if you look at this place on paper, you're heading to the island, you're going out to the docks, you're going to the bluff walls, you're trying to fish those deeper fish. But this body of water, all the baits hang out in 1.5 feet of water.
Ooh.
So we kind of let everybody go and just kind of stayed back. And then we just went to work. And he actually, I'll be honest, I have someone who fished tournaments. I had this ego coming in that I was going to have to carry him, and it was completely the opposite. So Canada was carrying the United States in that tournament. The first,
all right, Matt, there you go.
6, I think you got the first 6 on the board. I think I had one like 12 or 12 and a half, but he was pulling in like 14, a 16, a 17. Okay. So like, and it was all the same kind of deal. It was square bills just above the grass for him. And then I ended up going to a swim jig because I was like, I need to upsize the bite, and this is weedless. And he's a sadist. I can't run a square bill through grass. I just don't want to pull grass out of hooks all day long. It's not my deal.
Smack them out of the water to clear them, yeah.
But yeah, it was really a weird day because it went from like kind of calm to nasty windy to kind of calm to gusting 30 to kind of calm. So it was like you never really got comfortable. And I was telling him the whole time I've done enough tournaments, and actually it's kind of funny because the theme is kind of the same across all these is we ended up winning by 1.5 inches.
Oh.
So it's kind of the same story that I kept telling him. He's like, dude, I think when we got into like the 80s, he was like, I think we got it. And I'm like, I've done enough of these. You never have it fish until and the thing is, we were doing paper style. There was no tourney X.
Old school.
So we were literally taking photos on our phone, and nobody had any idea what anybody had until we did the launch.
I remember those.
There was no score. So I literally had an album in my phone and an Excel sheet, and that's how my scoring was going. So I knew where we were at. And no, we got to like 85. And it was like it's 83 or something like that.
That's a good.
And that's what I said. I was like, okay, mid 80s, especially because in the trail we have at that time, I don't think other than the Williams boys, I don't think anybody else had ever fished a tournament at all.
Oh wow.
So it was a lot of like inexperienced anglers in the tournament world, and it's a different mentality in a tournament. 100%. So I was hoping for like 85. That was my goal. And once we hit that, I was like, okay, we need to keep going. We need to keep trying to upsize. And we ended the tournament with 93.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was insane for
that's
a pre-spawn
really good
tournament. Yeah.
That's really good, especially for the Northeast. Was that smallmouth and largemouth?
That lake's all largemouth.
Oh, wow.
So that place is weird, too, because, like I said, it's my home lake. So, like, a 19-inch bass is a 5-pounder on that lake. They're like football. They're like the smallmouth football deals. They're like wicked huge. But yeah, we just kept like plugging away. We kept pulling 18s. We called out every fish we had originally had.
That's a good day, boys.
And I ended up, the kicker for us was a 20-inch even, which I pulled out. But literally, if you go by numbers, I actually had less inches than he did. Even at the end, pulling a 20 and an 18, he still had the rest of the bag. So,
wow.
Yeah.
God, 93 is, that's a killer sack.
At 90 inches, if it wasn't for Mike, like I was done fishing. I'm like, oh, we just cracked 90. No,
he's like, we got this. And I was like, nah, I've been here before.
So this is what I like talking about is right. The mentality part of it is like, you think, right. You're like, dang, we got 90 inches. Nobody's touching that, especially up in this area. Right. Like you're like, all right, 90, we're good. But like Mike said, that's where the experience comes in. You're like, dude, we play to the whistle. You know what I mean? Because I know that's how sometimes you'd be like, yo, I think we're good. But just when you say that, right? When you say that, that's when that team with that, right? That extra inch comes right there. And you're like,
in the last hour.
Yeah.
And it was actually in front of everybody, which kind of was an ego big head moment too. Like the storm had kind of kicked up again, but everybody had kind of done that. Like, you know how like at the end of the tournament, everybody starts to like conjugate back around the ramp and just do that like last bit of fishing before they head in.
Yeah.
And like we ended up pulling, I think it was an 18 even, which was like a 3/4 of an inch call.
Damn.
So it pretty much, I mean, we won by 1.5 inches, but still, like without that 3/4 inch call, it would have been a hell of a lot closer. So,
oh, dude, that's awesome. That is awesome. Congratulations. That's a great first event right there.
yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, now your goal is to try to crack that 93 and get a new team PB.
Yeah.
I think you guys can do it with knowing some of the fish up there. And I can't wait to see that. I don't think yet, or maybe I take my words back. I think, and Josh, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you might remember or know. Have we ever had an angler or a team in Slay Nation crack 100 inches or reach 100?
So we had an event. It was a co-event that somebody broke 100. I don't know if we've had one in Slay. We had like 99. I know in one of our events.
Yeah, because I feel like one of our trails did, but I was thinking of getting like decals that say like how Bassmaster Elites do the Century Club, but like get something that says 100-inch club, and then maybe have another decal 90-inch club, because not for nothing, especially for anybody new in a tournament fishing, like there's gonna be hills and valleys, right? Like right now it's like, yo, we just crushed it, we're first place, and then there's always gonna be an event you're like, damn, we can't even find a fish. Right. It's going to feel like that. And like, that's the thing about tournament fishing is it's really going to put you to the test. But the good thing about fishing a club that fishes different bodies of water, you're going to become a better angler, because you're not going to be a one lake wonder. Right. And I guarantee you, especially to Craig, Frank, and to Matt, because you guys are newer into it. Like after this season, you're going to be like, holy crap, I'm such a better fisherman than I ever thought I was at the beginning, because you're just going to learn stuff from your fellow club members, right? And talk. Listen, if there's any advice I'd give you guys is at the end of an event, don't be shy. I mean, unless you're winning and people are coming up to you, yo, what were you guys doing? Go up to guys that you see are doing pretty good, that look, that seem like they take it pretty serious. Like, as far as just like, giving all they got, like just ask them, be like, hey man, how did you manage to catch 93 inches? Like, what were you doing? And like our brand is that we want guys to be like, hey man, I was throwing a square bill, dude. I was throwing this color square bill, man. Yeah. I was hitting this. And like you'll look back at the end of the season and say, wow, I've gotten so much better, or I picked up a technique that I really didn't have confidence in, but look what it's doing. It's producing fish. Right. And like, that's the best thing about fishing tournaments, is it's going to make you a better fisherman. But again, it's a mental battle as well, because right now all of you are on these highs, and which is good, because you're going to take that confidence into the next event. But you got to just be aware, like, hey, well, if we don't do good, let's not put our heads down, which you guys all seem really like a positive people, which is good. But like, you'll notice if you just, view your club every now and then, you'll see these guys, they just put their heads down, and it's like, my man's already defeated, dude, and we haven't even gotten to water yet. Like, you don't want that to creep in.
Right? No, you can't, because you never know what's going to happen. Anything's possible once you get out on that water.
100%. Once you get in that water, it's anybody's game, because you're on the same body of water, which is nice. But again, you're going to have guys that are really familiar. So now you just got to up your game, right? You got to up your game, because some of these guys know what they're doing. What's up, Fishing Freaks?
Last year in MAKB.
Say that again.
I did MAKB last year. Did the MAKB West, and my first event I placed 4th, just out of the money for that event. So I came out the first ever live event I did was the Big Bass Challenge in Rhode Island, and I placed in the money. And then my second event ever was MAKB West, and I placed literally 1 inch out of the money. Right? Yeah, that's the wife.
Yeah,
trying to encourage me / get in my head.
That's good.
And so then the next 2 events in MAKB, I blanked, zeroed completely.
Yeah.
I actually went and pre-fished the second time I blanked, and thought it had a good plan and didn't even catch a pickerel, a perch, literally nothing. So that's what kind of motivated me when we had, 90. I was like, dude, I do not believe in enough. Like, just we're not done yet.
Yeah.
And that was, and honestly, the biggest thing is fishing. I actually don't know if I will do a solo tournament again.
Yeah.
Now that I've done a team, it's totally, he kept me from, I probably wouldn't have won if he wasn't there. Because in my mind, I tend to I go into home run mode too quick. Yeah. So I get a small limit, but I'm in fish and I'm like, yeah, I got to go because there's only 14s here. And he's like, dude, let's go work that bank with a square bill. Let's go work that. Like, we haven't hit that in a while. Let's go hit that bank again. And for me, I tend to just kind of start to tour once I get that limit. Yep. He kind of kept me humble. And between the two of us, we actually kind of figured out, like I was saying earlier, we figured out this like weird strategy late where at first we were kind of like almost fishing against each other. Like we weren't really in sync. Yep. But by the end of the tournament, and actually in our videos, it's really weird to watch. So we got to the point where we were so synchronized that we weren't looking at each other, but our kayaks were literally like turning and like we were staying like 6 feet apart at one point, and we were like literally maneuvering around each other without even realizing the other was like one guy would move up and the other guy would come in behind him. And then at one point we were just facing opposite directions, just dinking and dunking. And it was just like this weird, like symbiotic thing happened about halfway through the tournament. And then from there we just kind of rolled, and it just, like you said, it's like the one thing about the limit is like, that's when, for me, that's when the weight comes off the shoulders. Like once you got that fifth fish, 100%. You feel better because it's really hard to win without a full limit. Like
100%. And it's also, and you'll start to realize, like a lot of guys, like there's going to be events you're not going to catch a limit. I guarantee it. Like catching a limit in a tournament is like, that's a success in itself. It's just how it is. Tournament fishing is not, you don't get to pick conditions. It's not fun fishing. Oh, I'm going to go next Tuesday because it's going to be 80 degrees. It's here's the day. And unless it's extremely bad weather and it gets canceled, and like just catching it, like that is my goal. My teammate, Dave, who's on here, actually, our goal is just to try to catch a limit each event. I don't care if it's we do 10-inch minimum. I don't care if it's 50 inches, but the goal is just to try to catch a limit. And it's harder than people might think. It just is just the way it goes. Craig and Frank, you got a fan in the house. I don't know who it is, but you probably do. Jessica Surdy.
Yeah, that's my brother, my little brothers.
That's your little brother's girl?
No, that's just my little brothers.
They're that's like your little brother?
Yeah, my little brothers. There's 3
Whose account is it though?
Oh, no, it's my mom's account.
Okay. I was gonna say your little brother's Jessica. Hey, I'm not judging. It's
2024 nowadays, man.
Just gonna say. All right, little bro in the house. What's little bro's name?
Wyatt, Noah, and Jacob.
Wyatt, damn, dude, you got all the boys. What's up, boys? I'm just gonna say boys. Wyatt, Noah, and Jacob. What's good, babies? Awesome. Yeah, I love it. Well, you guys all got victories. Now, here's my question for the guys throwing square bills, and you don't have to give the juice, whatever. But what is your weapon of choice when it comes to the crankbaits?
We use Guggen. We use the Guggen crankbaits.
Okay. You don't have to tell us the color if you don't mind.
We found out where we are that the ghost gill color works. It's more of that like bluegill color they call it, I guess.
Okay.
And it slayed them.
Yeah, it was killing them.
We slayed them the weekend prior to the tournament. We caught like 20 fish.
That's when we found out.
Only using that.
Only using that. Interesting.
And walleye and crappie with the same bait.
Nice. Not a lot of guys. I feel like I personally don't see it much up by me, really. Like the crankbait getting utilized enough. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people are going towards soft plastic, which I get, right, and hard wire baits. Yeah. But I feel like the crankbait is not as prominent as it used to be. With the pistol grip rods, old Rick Clun.
Yeah.
This time of year, it's pretty much a go-to. I was doing a lipless crank.
Oh, okay.
I do a lot more lipless than square bills myself, just because of the versatility. But
yeah. What about you, Matt? Were you throwing a crankbait?
Yep, a KVD square bill. It was a floating, but I found my trick was it didn't have any rattles in it.
Silent.
didn't actually make a sound. So that was, I don't know if that made a difference. It's the first time I actually used a rattleless crankbait, but I was just slinging them on it, and it was like a bluegill as well. And I was fishing it like between lily pads too,
Oh, interesting.
like 2 feet of water, and they were just hammering it.
He was working it pretty aggressively too.
Yeah.
Like he had quite a bit of like rod action going on.
Okay.
Keep in mind, he's also, I said he's a sadist. He's doing this all with a spinning rod. He basically refuses to use a bait caster. So
good for you. All right.
which, to be fair, with the wind, it probably was an advantage because sometimes casting those little square bills without
you get a
with a bait
backlash.
caster in the wind, man, it sometimes
forget
blows your reel up.
It drives you nuts.
I mean, we used the bait caster. It wasn't too bad. We didn't really backlash. I mean, it doesn't really have the weight to really flip it out there really far.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, we were able to pull through all the weeds if we ever got caught into them and stuff like that.
Okay.
And that was really the first time we used the crankbill bait.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our experiment. We were at the lake.
Yeah.
We only been to that lake 3 times.
Okay. Sometimes that's the best. Like sometimes when you go into a body of water with no preconceived notion, like, you're just like, yo, dope, new place, or maybe only been there a few times. And if you've only been there a few times, you maybe not have hit as many spots. So like still kind of fresh to you. You know what I mean? And I think there's some funness to that. I was just going to ask a question. What the hell was I just going to ask you guys? Oh, was anybody on here using forward facing sonar?
Nope.
No.
Never.
As far as I know, we only have one guy on our trail that has it, and he's actually, it's his last name is Brian. He does the New Hampshire trail too. He does Ryan's trail.
Okay.
He got forward facing this year. I actually fished with him at a local lake, but he wasn't at that event because he was on call for work. So
Gotcha.
a lot of the guys, so it was actually kind of funny because there was a lot of like boats, but you could tell like a lot of guys like rigged up the boat they had in their yard for a while.
Yep.
It wasn't like, these weren't like decked out boats. It was actually kind of cool. It was like a good old boys tournament, Hell, Bear was towing one of our buddies' boats in with his kayak. They literally threw him a line and he was like literally pulling him in with the pedal drive because the battery died halfway through the event. They ended up anchoring down for the last 2 hours of the event. It's actually a buddy of ours too. So he was anchored down for the last like hour of the event just trying to get some fish. And then they ended up using their anchor and like throwing it and then pulling themselves. And then Bear was kind of like keeping them straight with his kayak to get
that guy's got to switch to lithium, man. Lithium batteries in a John boat is an absolute game changer.
I talked to him today. He's literally picking one up tomorrow.
You have to. I'm telling you. I have two 12-volt 100 amp hours, and I got a 72-pound thrust Minn Kota. Because that was always my worry, was making a long run with 3 lead batteries, because they just went quick and they're heavy as hell. And I've always be like, I don't want to go. I don't feel like we're going to make it back, dude. Let's stay here. And now that I switched, I don't even have to worry about it. I think
lithium is from the kayak and John boat world, dude.
100%. If you're going to invest in something, I know we all think gear, right? As far as rods and baits and, electronics. If one thing I would give advice about is get lithium batteries, get a good or 2 or whatever you need lithium batteries. You won't have to worry. It'll change your whole mentality of fishing. I think it'll put you more at ease. I think
we've been out a couple of times now. Batteries actually died out on us, and we had to sit there and use an oar to paddle ourselves back.
It's the worst. It's the worst, dude. I've been there, and I'm like, you're like, and the wind's blowing against you, and you're like, Jesus Christ, we're never going to make it back to shore.
And you got the current, because we were in this one river one time, and our batteries died all the way at the other end, and we had to go all the way the opposite way.
Dude, it was horrible.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, the only reason I asked about forward-facing sonar thing is because I told the directors I was going to take a poll and see out of our winning teams, like top 3, like who's been using, just to see if it really is affecting what we're doing. I can give 2 shits whether someone has it or not. I just want people to go fish, and that's all I hope anybody does. And I'll tell you right now, off the bat, I think out of all of our winners of our current Slay Nation events, which we still have like another, 4 or 5 clubs that haven't even started yet. I think we've only had one winner that used it. One. One. And one guy said he has it. And he's like, I don't even want to use it.
I know with our event, I talked to a few guys, and the big thing was they couldn't stay still with the wind. So it's not like it helped them any.
Yeah. I'm not, the only reason I'm not against it, by the way, I think it's cool. I never used it. I don't have it, but I'm just saying, I was like, I'll keep tabs and I'll see if it's really a big issue.
The problem is the media portrays it as like you're just going to lose if you compete against a guy with forward-facing sonar.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
The tournament I placed in the money in MAKB, 4 guys have forward-facing sonar and XI3s with spot lock.
Yeah.
But yet I'm in my pedal drive Old Town and a 2D. I have a Lowrance hook, like old school, basically 2D and DI. Man, I don't even have side imaging, so
100%. Yeah,
I think some of the kayak tournaments too, though. I think what's cool about the Play Nation events, though, is like especially small vessel kayak, is you're going to get a lot of shallow water fisheries, and if you get a lot of like heavy grass, shallow water fisheries, that forward facing sonar isn't going to do you a lot of good because it's not going to shine through that grass.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the guys that like I love to fish grass, so that to me is an advantage.
100%. Like I like. Don't get me wrong. On Bassmaster Live, like I do enjoy some parts, like watching the guys use it because I don't have it. So you see their lure fall and the fish come up. I'll be honest, like I can't watch it all day. Don't get me wrong. No. But if I'm on real quick and I'm like making myself pancakes and a coffee, I look over and I see it and I'm like, oh damn, that was pretty dope. I think what's the young kid again? What's his name? He's 19 in a Bassmaster. He won an event already. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I forgot his first name already. Whatever.
I want to say he's from New York too, actually.
No, he's from Indiana.
Is he?
Okay. Yeah. And the last event they were on, he was using it, but he was fishing topwater. He was fishing like a spook. And I'll tell you right now, it was really cool. It was like really cool to see that. It was really cool. And he was slamming them. And he's like, oh, look, there's a big one. And he's casting it out there, and a boom, boom. And he had like 2, 3 back to back. That was really fun to watch. That was really cool. But I was just, Trey McKinney. Thank you. I knew it was something with a T. I just couldn't remember. And I know who he is. I follow it, but I just blanked. So that's all I wanted. I was curious if any of you guys had it on there and not.
And I'm not against it either. Like I was trying to kind of talking negatively of it. Like if I had $4,000 to burn, I'd probably put it on my kayak, but I just don't have the money for the transducer and the head unit. So, because I think fishing deep, I think if you get into a tournament where they're all suspending and they're all deep, yeah, you're definitely going to have a little bit of an advantage because you can find them quicker. But a lot of the places and a lot of the tournaments that I fished, at least in the last couple of years, there's always been like the ability to find a shallow bite or grass bite or wood bite or, that kind of stuff. So it's, because I'm like, that's the same way Bear Fishing is that he's more of a target fisherman. So when I took him to Hortonia the first time, like he was like, well, what are we doing? And I'm like, watch. I'm like, just pedal around and cast. And he's like, this doesn't make any sense. And then I showed him the Google Maps later. And the thing is where we were is all pads in the summer. It's 4 feet of water with 3 feet of milfoil and pads over top of that. So I know where the pad lines end because I fished there. So we were basically skirting where the pads normally would be. So those bass were still hanging out in those ambush spots, even though the grass wasn't topped out yet. But if you look at it, like that's where forward-facing helps you is you can see that kind of stuff in 20 feet of water. You can be like, oh, there's a school of fish in 15 feet that you wouldn't necessarily know were there just by using regular 2D or DI.
Absolutely. Josh, on your schedule, is there a body of water that you're like really looking forward to going to?
Oh yeah. I mean, you were talking about if Slays hit 100 yet. I definitely think it's going to happen this year. So June 1st, we're going to be back on Cayuga.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's going to happen, it's going to be there.
It's a joint event. We're actually going to be there with Hobie BOS. So,
word to Big Bird.
And, we have ours as an open event. Obviously, we love our members, but we also want to up the pot for them too. So we're going to have some guys in there that aren't Slay members from the Hobie probably joining in. And if any of the Slay members are up here fishing the Hobie BOS, they can join in with us too.
Hell yeah. Talk about the other collab event in August.
So we are going down to PA this year to fish the Susky. And that one was originally, the last 2 years in a row has been Slay Nation only. But this year we actually decided to open it up because we're joining up with, I think their abbreviation's KAS.
Oh,
Kayak
Kayak
Adventure
Adventure
Series.
Yes.
Drew.
So
Mr. Gregory.
brand new series up here. They reached out to Justin and TJ, and it's going to be a pretty fun time. I know I'm excited to go down there and fish the Susky. I'm buying a cheap little $200 kayak to take down with me. I'm not running my native down there.
I got one you can use. It's a Pelican sit-in.
There we go. That'll work.
And yeah, but that's going to be a fun event. Drew, we got hooked up by Dark Horse Tackle because they work with the Kayak Adventure Series. And I had a talk with Drew, and I was like, he's like, yo, would you guys be interested? I was like, my guys will freaking love that. And then you guys all got in touch. And if you guys don't know, the kayak, I think they have an event this weekend, actually, Kayak Adventure Series. And like they rent out like these theater halls, like for award ceremony. It's like a big festival almost, right? And this event that Josh is talking about in August, it's sponsored by Toyota and GoPro. It's going to be, and the Slayers get the Slay Nation, like it's going to be so many pots to be able to get your hands in. It's going to be awesome, but also just the Civil War event. They're going to be able to do their award ceremony right there in the theater with everybody else. So which will be really cool exposure. Yeah, that's going to be a really fun tag team event. And I'm excited for you guys for that. That's one that I might come down for the day. I don't think I'll fish, but I'll just come down. Say what
this
up.
year we called our trail this year the Season of Opportunity because we're partnered with KAS. We're partnered with the Hobie BOS. We've got an event coming up in 3 weeks with NYKBF. There's another one I'm forgetting, but like 4 of our events this year are actually combined events. So all of our anglers have a chance to double dip, some events even triple dip, to really bring the most home.
I love it. Bringing tournament opportunities to the everyday slayer, son.
And the nice thing with that is it draws in people from some of the other clubs. Like this year last year we did a bunch with
100%.
NYKBF, and we've got 3 or 4 guys that signed up that are usually only NYKBF. They're doing both this year just because of how we run Slay.
Yeah, I love it. Is maybe you guys might know better than me. KBF, are they not holding any more trail series? Like, you know, you know what I'm talking about?
I haven't seen it. I mean, other than like the like challenge series stuff, like the state challenges. That's all I've seen.
Not doing
they haven't done like any like lives that I've seen.
Yeah, I thought I heard someone told me that they weren't doing any more trail series. They're just doing their a club affiliate ones, and you know, their clubs. Yeah. But 90 plus inches leading. Oh,
yeah, they're down in Georgia. Yeah,
they're down in Shola Palooza here in hold on, Southeast Georgia, kayak bass fishing. Hold on, folks, just came in. Southeast Georgia kayak bass fishing. We have 90 plus inches leading the KAS Shola Palooza here in
That's
Georgia.
Another American angler content creator, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Ed Munoz, you got to get in that Shola Palooza. You're a Georgia boy. And we got
what day is that Cayuga event?
June 1st.
Okay.
Now, with that Civil War, anything now that's New York versus Pennsylvania. Can we come up from Long Island since we're part of New York?
Of course you can.
Sure. Got to have a kayak, though. You got kayaks?
Oh, it's a kayak event.
Kayak only. We're not a small vessel.
Gotcha. All right.
So if you get a kayak, absolutely. Talk to some guys in the club. I bet you someone will say, you're like, oh, guys, we're looking to represent Long Island up in this thing. Anybody have some kayaks we could borrow? I guarantee you'll get someone in your club to say, guys, we got 2 kayaks. Guarantee it.
No, definitely. I'll ask around and see what happens.
It's a river event, right, Josh? It's more river. So
originally it was going to be a lot smaller, but if I don't have it in front of me, if I remember right, they opened up 150 miles of the river because of KAS. Because we're going with their boundaries.
Oh, wow.
All right. That's a lot.
That's a lot of territory to cover.
Oh, yeah.
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 But I mean, from my I haven't personally fished this husky, but from what I've been told, it's a lot of wading in water and pulling your kayak behind you. So there's no putting a boat in down there in most spots.
So it's a bank fishing tournament.
Kind of.
That is my argument with that wading shit. If you're not in a kayak fishing, it's not kayak fishing. It's bank fishing. If you don't catch the fish. And I'm just joking, but I'm not. But anyway, Craig and Frank, on your schedule, is there a body of water that you guys saw and you're like, ooh, is there? Maybe not. Maybe there is.
Montauk, because we just never been there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fort Pond in Montauk. I think they have it twice coming up. The next one, our next tournament's actually going to be out there. It's May 18th. We'll be out in Fort Pond.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. When Jim told me he sent the schedule, he's like, yeah, Lake Montauk. If anybody has heard of Montauk, you think of striper fishing and tuna fishing or whatever out there, but it's actually not the same location.
Yeah, they have a couple decent sized lakes out there.
Which I'm so surprised, dude. Honestly, I can't believe it's as popular as it is in Long Island. I'll be honest, because a lot of people don't think. That's why Mike Iaconelli got so big up here, right? He's more of like a city guy, Northeast, and you're like, and all the guys like here in like a tri-state kind of area. It's like, oh damn, this guy likes bass fishing. No, I like bass fishing. That's why he became so popular up this way.
Yeah, we have a lot of bass fishing, and then believe it or not, fly fishing as well down here.
Yeah, a lot of people fly fish.
Fly fish?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that fly fish.
Huh.
Dude, I would never. I got family.
That would have been the last I would have pegged.
I would never think fly fishing. Fly fishing for meatballs. That's about it in Long Island.
I've never tried it. I don't know if I would ever try it. It seems like if you could actually get the hang of it, it would be something cool if you're into it.
I'm gonna have to visit Long Island and test the catch a bass on Long Island.
You better come up here first, Frankie.
Upstate New York, yeah, I know.
Yeah. You ever hear of Fern Lake?
No. Where's that?
In the Adirondacks.
Josh, have you heard of that?
No.
Oh, it's a beautiful lake, dude. It's crystal clear, it's deep, and there's huge bass in there. It's right near my property upstate, and we go there, and it's amazing fishing.
See, the farthest we usually, for us, go is Saranac Lake.
Okay.
Now, what part of upstate do you normally like? You're mostly central New York, or you're towards like Westchester County stuff?
So we're all over the place. Like myself and Justin, I live 5 minutes from Fort Drum. He lives about a half hour from Fort Drum.
Okay.
But a lot of our guys, I mean, we have guys that are out in the Adirondacks. We have guys that are in Syracuse, guys that are in Auburn. The first half of the year, most of our events are Syracuse, Auburn, areas like that, because in Jefferson County where I live, you can't even fish for bass until June 15th, even catch and release. They're off limits.
Oh, wow.
So we have to go away in order to have any of our tournaments. And then once June 15th hits, we start bringing them back this way a little bit just to kind of even it out.
Yeah.
Is Pennsylvania like that too? Don't they have a rule or you can't?
Yes, they can't fish in the spawn. That's why TJ came up for our event, because they couldn't host one yet.
That's right. Yeah.
Canada's like that too, huh? There.
June 15th as well.
I mean, it's crazy to me because there's only like 2 counties in New York that do it. The rest of them you can fish year round as long as it's only catch and release.
Mm-hmm.
But Jefferson and I want to say Franklin, maybe. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can't fish at all when they're out of season.
Okay. Gotcha. Southeast Georgia. No, we do not have a Southern Division, just a Northern small vessel, but we would love to have one. Mike and Matt, on your schedule, is there a body of water that, well, probably Mike would know better, right? Like where you were like, dude, this is
the one we just fished, honestly, because that was my home lake.
It's over with. Nothing to look forward to.
For me, the one I'm looking forward to is Magog. So we're fishing man for Magog in, I think it's August? September.
Okay.
I've never fished it, and it's because that's where me and him flip distances, because that's 3 hours and 40 minutes from my house, and it's a lot closer to Canada than it is to it's the Canadian border. I mean, if you go north enough on that lake, you're in Canada.
Yeah.
There's like
I was
really
wondering if
buoys
I could
across
do
it.
that actually. If I could just cross the border on my kayak and fish.
Yeah, just jump in and pedal down. Yeah.
Look at that.
Just pass.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bring your passport.
I mean, you can come fish any of ours.
That's why I asked about the Cayuga one but that's literally the day before our June event. So that would be a rough tournament to fish that and then literally pack up and head home to get up and fish in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, for some of you guys, with it being your first tournament, and I don't know, but how tired were you at the end of the day when you got home? Like, were you like beat?
Dead.
He was delirious at the end of the tournament. He said to me at least 6 times, "All right, I'm going to go home." And then like he'd walk away and come back like he forgot that he told me he was going to go home. And then he came back. I'm like, you all right? Drive home? Like, you want to come take a nap first? Or
Oh my God. Well, I know for a fact, because you're up early, you're at the ramp early, whatever. I know sometimes after every event, I'm like this in the shower. I feel like I'm still rocking.
Yep.
I almost feel like I got to hold the wall. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like I feel like I'm still on the boat and I'm going like this. But I'll tell you right now, that's probably my best night's sleep is like after a tournament, just done.
I know I left my house at like 1:30 in the morning to head down there because it was a 2.5 hour drive. I got home about 6 o'clock, took a shower, and passed right out.
Passed out, right? Like the summertime is like, those are my favorite tournaments, like a summertime tournament. Like you get home, you take a shower finally, maybe you order a pizza and you got if you drink like a cold beer, I just need one, ice cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Windows are open. You got like the little summer breeze flowing, dude. And maybe this is the old man of me talking, but I'm like, like that. Like a baby. My kid's yanking on me. Dad, wake up! I need Cheerios. I'm like, get out of here.
Until you do a tournament, you don't understand. Like it's a mental game. It's honestly, it's just the fact that your brain is just. It's not when you're fun fishing. You kind of just more relaxed. When you're doing a tournament, you're just basically redlining your brain the entire event. So it's just a different event.
100%. And then think about fishing it and being a director, right? And you got to think about
I wouldn't want
everything else. And one of my guys who's been with me for 5 years, Rick, he's also now our Kayak East Connecticut director. And he's like, Frank, they had their first event a few weeks ago. And he's like, dude, I don't know how you do it, man. I got so much respect for you guys. You do this, and then you're judging fish, and then you're trying to fish yourself. And I'm like, yeah, you just get used to it. But I was like, yeah, it's not like we have nothing else to worry about. We're worried about everybody else. Like, oh, did someone fall over? Or someone's got to leave early, or there's an emergency. This battery went. How can we get them in?
That cloud looks awful ominous. Is that going to be lightning, or is that going to be rain?
Oh, that too. Well, that too. That's the toughest call as a director is to cancel something, because everybody wants to fish no matter what, but they don't understand the director is responsible no matter what. No matter what, the director is responsible, because if something were to happen to an angler, God forbid, they're not going to say, oh, it's okay. They're going to say, well, why did the tournament happen? Why was it allowed? Why did the director? Didn't they think about them and their family? Right? That's what's going to happen. End of the day. So, whatever. Thank you to our directors. All right, boys. Well, we're after the hour mark, actually, hour 10. And I don't want to keep you guys too late. I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Congratulations on a phenomenal start to your seasons. Mike and Matt, I expect to see 94 inches or more this season.
I will tell you, it won't happen on the next event. The next event's a lake that place actually has a really bad blue-green algae bloom every year. And it's screwed the fish up to the point where like they're actually pure white, like they're weird looking.
Okay.
And it's literally farms all the way around it. So that water looks like sewage at all times.
Ugh,
and but there's a couple coming up that there definitely will be a chance for.
Right. Well, we'll be paying attention. And then Frankie and Craig, hey, we're going to keep our eyes on you. The new young guns, hot guns. I don't know, smoking guns. All right. We'll see what you guys do the next few events.
Yeah.
And
we hope we continue with the same momentum we started with.
Oh,
and I just want to say congratulations to all you guys that won as well.
Awesome.
And
That's
maybe
awesome.
someday we could come up and fish in one of your tournaments up by you guys.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, let's go. That'd be great.
Even if you guys just want to come up and get on a YouTube channel, I know a couple guys that do a lot of collaborations. Just saying.
Yeah, we got a YouTube channel too. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, we're gonna get to those in a minute, actually. All right, so Mike and Matt, why don't you guys take us away? Mike, you can go first.
Honestly, I don't really have much else to say. If you guys want to check out the video for this tournament's gonna hit Saturday on Binya Outdoors. I think Barry, you're putting yours out Saturday as well, right?
Yeah, okay.
So if you guys want to see the live footage, or not live, but edited down to make it look cool footage, check it out on Saturday on our channels. And I'm looking forward to the season. I really think that it's going to be a fun year for us.
Hell yeah. Awesome. Thanks, brother. And Matt, how about you, bud?
I'm just looking forward to the rest of the tournaments coming forward. A couple more. We're going to have a friendly sleepover again. But no, I'm just looking forward to becoming a better fisherman, honestly. Being in the city, I don't get many chances to fish different lakes with largemouth and smallmouth. So just fishing a lake in general, I'm excited to be on different lakes.
Awesome.
I'm just excited for the future. That's it.
Where can people check out your YouTube?
Oh, bear fishing, guys. It's on my hat right there. Just bear fishing. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. I got it all. Check it out.
Appreciate it, brother. And Frankie and Craig, where can people follow you? Any shout outs?
Yeah, you can follow us at Endless Journey on YouTube, Instagram, and that's really it.
Dope.
No,
All right.
No sponsors yet, but
All right, you don't need it could be a simple shout out to a wife, a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Shout out to my fiance, Nicole.
There you go, dog. Congratulations, sucker. Fiance, 27. Damn, kid. Y'all, do you have a wedding date yet?
No, not yet.
Did you just get engaged?
Yeah.
Congrats. All right. I wish I knew that earlier. I would have. All right. We're going to have you back on, man. And I want to find out how you propose, dude.
Oh, it's actually pretty cool. I'll tell you next time when we win.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Run it down. Jim, you heard that. They're going to win another one. And Josh, you're up, brother.
I don't have a YouTube, but I will shout out to Chris Nielsen in the chat, my tag team partner for the event there. And then Doc's Tackle for sponsoring us this year. And Morgan Marine for sponsoring us last year when we took home the New York State Kayak Championship.
Let's go, kid. Hold on. You got to share that story because that was a big event.
It was. And we're looking forward to this year.
They represented Slay Nation in this one.
So, all of the kayak trails across New York got together last year, and there were 6 of us. We sent our top 10 angler of the year to the event, fishing Oneida Lake. You could take 10 anglers plus 2 directors, and Slay Nation took home the dub, and we crushed all 5 other teams.
Dude, that was a cool event. That was really cool that New York does that, though.
It's something we're doing it again this year, October 5th. And because we won last year, we got to choose a body of water for this year. So
where'd you choose?
3 Rivers. It's actually connects right to Oneida, but it's a pretty big area, something they weren't expecting us to pick.
Nice.
I know I'm excited for it. I'm a river guy myself. So
okay. Love it. I love it. Well, hey, gents, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Thanks again. Welcome to Slay Nation. And I hope to get you guys on here, and we'll be paying attention now.
Next time Justin will be on. I'm calling it. He's winning Oneida.
All right. I can't wait to see it. All right, brothers. Have a great weekend. And anybody out there watching, good luck. If you're slaying this weekend, I know my club, we have our season opener on Sunday. I'm really excited to see the crew. And Frankie, people are fishing. Everybody's fishing.
Yeah, no biggie. I would have reached out to you later and to discuss it with you, but
I figured everybody's going to fish because it's the opener.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
That just popped in my head as I mentioned that. Hey guys, have fun. Take pictures. If you guys have pictures, no matter if it's fun fishing, just DM us on our Instagram page. And I'll share them on our Facebook and Instagram stuff because it's great content to post and people want to see what y'all are doing out there. So appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. And I'm going to log you all off and we're going to get out of here. So peace.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. All right, y'all. There you go. That was a fun show. A lot of great guys, and that's what we love. We love good people, and we love people that love fishing. So hey, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to go follow those guys, follow their pages, follow their groups, whatever, their YouTube channels, and it's cool to see everybody on their own journey. Just following their passions, man. It's what it's all about. It's freaking awesome. So have a great weekend. As always, peace, love, and slay all day.